Hey guys. I didn't see you guys there. How long you guys been there watching me? Anyways, it's Friday. I've got the day off work. I'm heading out here for a ride, fat bike ride. Should be about an hour and a half ride. I'm supposed to start the ride earlier. I think it's after 3 now. But I saw, well, first off, I've ridden to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I've been on my bike before 7 a.m. every one of those days. And it's been in the minus 20s. So excuse me for wanting to sleep in a little and not have to ride so early in the morning or in the morning at all. And then secondly, so I was going to start my ride around 1 o'clock, but then on Netflix, the Avengers Civil War came on there today in Canada, so I started watching that. I delayed my start of the ride. Still not finished. I think there's about 45 minutes left in the movie. I'm enjoying that, especially the Spider-Man as Spider-Man's supposed to be, a 16, 17-year-old kid, not college-age kid. But Spider-Man's awesome in that. And Black Panther, a cool character, cool outfit. So we're just gonna head up the Current River and go to kind of the end of one of the main trails. The trail actually keeps going, but it's pretty much impassable by bike, even by fat bike, just on foot. And so pretty much where the trail ends, there's some really nice rushing rapids and waterfalls. So take an Instagram photo or two there and then turn around and head back. So as you can see, there isn't very much snow. My last video a couple weeks ago, we had a decent amount of snow, but then I got warm again and almost all melted in the city and near Lake Superior. There's more snow if you drive 30 minutes outside of town, like substantially more snow. But Lake Superior keeps things warmer because it's such a large body of water. It keeps the temperature warmer near it, so they get way more snow out there. And sometimes it'll fall as rain here. It'll be snow 30 minutes from town. But the further into the trail we get, there will be more snow because that's protected from the sun and the lake. And we're also moving away from Lake Superior. But the snow's sticking around because it got really cold. So, like I said, we're hitting the minus 20s overnight. This is one of the warmer days now. There's a warming trend coming. It's about minus 13. Well, my Garmin says minus 12.2 right now. And that's because my Garmin was inside the house. We've only been riding for 13 minutes, so the thermometer on it is still cooling off. So I'll give you an update later on what the temperature is. Right now we're in the LPH, behind the LPH. It's a parcel of Crown land. There's some trails on them. Trails are nothing special, but I can get here in less than 10 minutes from my house, so I come here to ride at night quite a bit. It's a safe place to ride, and it's certainly more fun than riding a trainer or doing Zwift. It's real riding. I brought 3 batteries with me. Hopefully they survive the whole ride, because I went a long time there where I didn't make videos, so I wasn't recharging the batteries or keeping them topped up. So all my batteries have lost some of their life because of that. They've been damaged for sitting so long. This should be about an hour and a half ride, so hopefully we have enough battery life for all of that. I have 3 batteries, 1 actual GoPro branded battery, and then 2 Chinese knockoffs, and well, from my experience, I'd say there is a difference in terms of quality. The GoPro has seemed to have taken less damage from sitting for a long time. The two knockoffs have lost substantial amounts of their capacity, charge capacity. They are calling for a little bit of snow tonight, like 2 centimeters. At this point, I'll take anything. Part of the reason I want more snow too is I got new studs. So the two side-by-side studs that run down the center of these Dillinger 5s, I got them replaced with brand new studs. So that was an investment, really, because the studs work out to be at about $1 each, and that's about $80 in each tire. But they should make a difference, because the main studs down the middle have lost substantial amounts of their sharpness. Like, you just, by hand, when you touch them compared to the knobs on the side of the tire, is a massive difference in sharpness. But now they're brand new. And when I rode home, like, I dropped the bike off at my dealer and got them to do it. My coffee break, I just rode over there because it just takes a few minutes to get there. And I picked the bike up at the end of the day. Wow, what a difference it was in noise. Like, the studs are so much more noisy now because they have so much sharper cutting surface that you just get even more noisy on pavement. And now this is, I don't know if you can tell, but because everybody's been walking here, this is very icy now underneath, so studs are definitely helping on this stuff. I'm the kind of rider that basically, once winter starts, I put on studded tires and I don't take them off. Even, you know, once you get into midwinter snow conditions, for most of the trail riding, you don't really need studs. Although they do help also on completely hard-packed snow. Studs will improve your bite. So it's not just on ice that they can help. But also, I live riding distance to the best trails in town. So basically, I never drive to the trails. I always ride to them. And that means I have to do some urban riding. So even if you don't need the studs, once you get into the trail system, you know, urban riding, you're almost always going to find a scenario where studs are going to help you. So I just leave them on all winter. So once I replace these, it'll be another pair of studded tires. So we're leaving the LPH property. We're just about to head into another trail system. Some more double track trail that's become almost icy. Well, it is icy underneath. Oh, check out this little spot here. I got a big picture. A little bit of ice falls type action. I don't have time to dilly-dally because sunset is like 5 o'clock, so we don't have time to dilly-dally. I don't have my lights with me or anything, but when a fine photo op appears, you gotta take advantage of it. I'm going to put this into airplane mode or flight mode or whatever to save on my battery. And I'll upload it once I turn it on, which is annoying to people that are following me. I'm sure if there's going to be 5 or 6 pictures, they're all going to appear at once. But then I want those 5 or 6 pictures to be there once I upload my ride to Strava. Oh, the quirks of social media. Probably won't take another picture until we actually get to the falls, unless I see something picture-worthy. Assuming my phone survives the temperatures, doesn't shut off. Carrying it in a back pocket, so it's sheltered from wind chill. And I've got it in a neoprene cell phone pouch, and then like just a cheap sunglass bag around that, so should keep it warm enough that it won't shut off. It's one problem with winter fat biking and real cold is take your phone along to take pics. You take your phone along for making emergency call if you need to, but if your phone gets too cold, it will just shut off. I had that happen 2 winters ago. I was in a ride with someone and there was a medical emergency, and took out my phone to make an emergency call, and my phone would not turn on. It was too cold. I had to ride a kilometer or so to somebody's house and start banging on their door, ask if I could use their phone. They were super awesome about it. It was seemed to be a stay-at-home mom, and they were fairly far out in the country. She was awesome about it. Really should have bought them a gift, now that I think about it. Like, I go banging on her door, and it was pretty cold that day, like almost -20, so my face is all covered. I only have a slit for my eyes showing. So here's this person in a slight panic, panting at their door because the medical emergency involved my brother. So now the temperature is -16.4 Celsius. Always got to add the Celsius for my American viewers. Come on, join the Celsius system and the metric system. What else is going on? Oh yeah, I'm running platform pedals. So end of last winter, I broke my Lake 303 shoes, and I didn't replace them then because it was spring. And so this fall comes, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? The prices on winter cycling shoes in Canada are outrageously expensive. So I ended up buying some lower price shoes from Louis Garneau. Oh, we got ice here. They were, what did I pay for them? Around 250 bucks, which I guess in Canada is cheap for a winter specific cycling shoe. But it's not a hardcore shoe. It's not like a -20, -30 shoe. And I used them for a while, yeah, and they weren't bad. But I want to be in a situation where I don't ever have to cut my ride short because of cold hands or cold feet. So those shoes, and even my Lake 303s, couldn't guarantee that. So I ended up buying some Solomon like sport winter boots and running platform pedals, and they're not ideal. I don't like that my feet move around on them, and you may put your foot down and it's not in the right angle, but you got to wait till you have an opportunity to reposition it. especially in an off-road scenario. But these shoes are going to be warm enough that I won't really ever have to cut my ride short. And luckily, the warmest pair of shoe covers that I have, which have more of a completely open, they're completely open underneath except for a strap that runs down the center of the shoe cover. They fit over top of these almost perfectly. So if I'm going out for 3 or 4 hours and real cold, I can throw those shoe covers over these shoes, which is going to be awesome. And because it's open in the bottom, you know, the rubber sole on the shoe is going to be able to grip the cleats, the studs on the pedals, the metal grip studs. So we're just about to merge onto the main trail here at Centennial Park and probably start running into walkers, which isn't a big deal. It's the people that are here with their dogs, not on leashes, that we have to worry about. They're violating the city bylaw. We're going underneath the TransCanada Highway. Well, this park, City Park, is on one side. One part of it is on one side of the highway, and the other part is on the other side, obviously. And there's just that narrow trail that connects the two. Yeah, these platforms aren't ideal, even for hill climbing. I did one of my patented 3-hour night rides on Saturday, and came into this trail system. I did some of the bigger, harder hills. Yeah, and I couldn't ride all of them. And I'm fairly certain if I had clipless pedals, I would have been able to ride them. The steeper sections. But that's the trade-off for having warm feet. Now the temperature is minus 17.2. Yeah, so I got the new studs on this, which makes me less likely to use this bike for commuting to work. So I've invested now with the price of these tires when I bought them, which, probably paid almost $500 for the pair a few years ago. And now the investment in these studs, I don't want to them to dull super quickly. So for the vast majority of my riding to work, I will use my Krampus with 45 North nicotines, which are also studded, but they're substantially less expensive than these tires. And for the majority of the riding conditions I'll deal with, nicotine will perform admirably. And I'll just pull this out for my commute on extreme days, so extreme snowy days, where the Krampus would have problems. So I'll save these tires mostly just for having fun, like today. And today's a day where they're making a difference, because you can see all the iciness underneath. Yeah, once you've had the confidence and control that studded tires give you in the winter, I don't really ever want to ride without them. One of my friends, Strava friends, who also rides to work all winter long. Props to him, he's rode all the cold days this week. But he bought some studded tires 2 weeks ago, and he's already taken them off for riding to work because there's only a few sections where you actually need them. You just have to be really careful on them because he doesn't want to dull his studs early, considering he paid $500 for his tires. So I've run into him a couple times this week, and I think he's running Bontrager or Narwhal tires now. They're fairly quick tires, I think, because we've ridden together a little bit on our ride home. I'm running the Nicotines, and I have to work fairly hard to keep up to them. Across the current river. So we've only seen 2 hikers in here, so hopefully that's a sign we won't see many more. Anyway, we're going to stop and take a picture of those rapids because it's beautiful. Yeah, phone isn't all that cold, so this neoprene setup bag is doing the job. Yeah, we got a steep section here, steep rocky section to deal with. Much rather do that with clipless pedals. Cleared it. Of course, when we get decent amounts of snow, it's much easier because then all those rocky bits are covered. That's one good and bad thing about winter fat biking, is it actually becomes less technical because the obstacles get covered with snow. But then it opens up areas and sections that weren't at all rideable, become rideable, so you can get to places which you cannot get to in the summertime. Yeah, really icy, so very glad to have the studded tires today. Hopefully that snow comes tonight. They're saying 2 centimeters. I'll take anything we can get at this point, especially when it's freaking cold. It just sucks when it's cold and brown. Here's a tree that had fallen and blocked the trail. Now we just ride around it. Man, human footprints, frozen human footprints. Worst thing to fat bike over. More icy conditions. No worries with our studded tires with brand new studs down the center. So this is TransCanada Trail and was officially part of a snowmobile trail network. I don't think it's part of the snowmobile trail system anymore. But snowmobilers still come through here. We see a quad has been through here. So we haven't seen many walkers because it's a work day and it's fairly cold. But I mean, this is Canadian North, and if you're going to live here, you either stay indoors or you just head outside, because this is what it's like out here. So most people aren't afraid of the cold. So more snow here, you can see in the woods. I think it's because this trail section here faces mostly north-south, so the sun doesn't shine on it for very long every day. Just a few hours, if that. Been out for 42 minutes. Might be more than an hour and a half. But we're heading upstream, so it's mostly gradual uphill, so it should be faster on the way home. So we had a storm here, our first real winter storm. It was also high winds, like 60-kilometer-an-hour gusts. So we're about to head into the Cascades. There was lots of trees down. Most of them got cleaned up, but then I guess because lots of the trees got damaged by that first real wind storm of the winter. We had some other windy days, not quite as windy, but they put down a lot of those other trees. So there's a bunch of trees down on this section, but it's all rideable. They're all rideable now. But there is another piece of trail about 50 meters to our left, and there's big trees down there that someone's going to have to come in with a chainsaw to get rid of, like new ones. There was the batch that fell down during that storm, those got cleaned up, and then the new batch fell down and no one's cleaned them up. They're big ones. This is like a super rooty section of trail. Lots of the roots are now covered over, but it's a piece of trail that, because it's so rooty in the summer, that you can actually ride it faster in the wintertime. So I think the Strava segment through here was set in the winter. The KOM. So yeah, like over this bumpy stuff, my feet are occasionally getting bumped and moved around on the platform pedals, which is really annoying. So probably gonna buy, I think they're called Why Not straps. I'll put a link to them in the description. So it's like a really thick 2 to 3 inch wide strap that's designed to go on like off mountain bike platform pedals. Hit our chain ring, hit our 30 tooth ring on that. Yeah, so they're like really wide, and you don't run them tight, but when your foot's in there, it'll stop your feet from moving from side to side or jumping around. It's expensive. They're like 55 bucks, expensive for a friggin' pedal strap, but I think they'll be a good solution. I'm gonna buy one pair, try them, and because I'm running platforms on this fat bike and I'm running platforms on my Krampus. So if I like them, I'll buy a second set and have them on both bikes. They're not even marketing them or targeting them for fat bikers. It's more of like a hippie city culture, use them on your fixie type company. I think they're, well, I guess I should state my opinion to actually try them, but I think for platform running fat bikers, I think they're probably a good idea. They're missing out on marketing to that market, but I won't know for sure until I try them. So we're taking a slightly longer route there because the other route has trees down. So this trail system has, there aren't any big hills, but there's a bunch of short, steep ones. So we got some short, steep ones to deal with, and not sure I'll be able to ride them with platforms. So we'll see. Temperature is now minus 17.9. Might hit minus 18 something. And that's kind of the reason why if you follow me on Strava, especially in the winter, usually every Saturday evening, I go try to do one long ride a week, 1 3-hour ride a week. And I come here and do it at night, so I don't have to deal with all the people. Because a lot of the trail in here in the winter becomes single track, and just every couple minutes you have to stop or slow down. It annoyed me so much that I just stopped coming here in the daytime on weekends. It's a weekday, so even though it's a weekday, I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody yet. But it's the combination of a weekday and the beginning of cold temps. The other thing is, if it becomes a cold winter, like eventually people just realize, well, it ain't warming up, might as well get out there. I don't think it's reached that point yet here. It's only been our first truly cold week. One morning it was minus 24.2. I think 2 days later, on that day, it actually got colder on my ride home from work. In the morning it was about minus 20, but then on my ride home it hit minus 24 something, which is unusual. Definitely usually the coldest in the morning, overnight. Yeah, so now it's dropped to minus 18.1. So we're moving away from Lake Superior. We're also gaining elevation. Combination of those two things can make for pretty dramatic temperature difference in these parts. So Lake Superior is a cold lake. Like, even in the summertime, rarely is it warm enough to swim in, but because there's so much water, it affects the temperature around it. So it has the effect in the summertime of keeping things cooler, and then the opposite effect in the winter. It actually keeps things warmer around it because there's so much water and it takes so long for it to heat up and cool down. Okay, so here's steep hill. Really, I should take a run for it, but I don't feel like it. No, not so bad. Also helps that the trail is really firm. I've been averaging 13.3 kilometers an hour. So yeah, I think as of yesterday I was at 14,279 kilometers for the year. So 15,000 kilometers for this year looks attainable. It'll still be difficult if things stay cold, because this is the reality of riding in the cold. Like, your average speed drops dramatically. So while I still may be able to ride the same amount of hours as I do when it's warmer, the distance you cover in that amount of time goes down dramatically. Because when it gets this cold, number one, I switch to riding off-road. I wouldn't want to deal with the wind chills that you would generate riding on the road. Not that I haven't done it. I do some gravel road rides in these temperatures. you do totally notice how much colder you get being out in the open. So yeah, that 15,000 K is attainable, I think, but it's going to involve potentially a special push. And this week, on my work days, I just rode to and from work. I added a little bit of extra distance riding to work and home, but those are the only rides I did. It ended up being like I was riding like an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes each day, which isn't bad at minus 20 something, but I didn't have the motivation to go out for a second ride in the evening. Like this ride probably be maybe about 30K, but I'm gonna go out again tonight. So I got to sleep in today, so I wasn't on my bike before 7 a.m. So I got that mental stress out of my system, having to be on my bike so early in the morning in the cold. Especially when, like I was saying, when it's just brown out, when there's very little snow. Alright, that battery died. I turned it on like about 10 minutes into my ride, the camera, so it only survived 45 minutes. So I've got one of the generics in there now, so we'll see how long that one lasts. Almost at our turnaround point, so you'll be able to see the most beautiful part of the ride. But I think I'm gonna have to source out some new batteries, and I think already Hero 3 batteries are going to be hard to find. There's a lift here. I think sections of this will become unrideable for us. Yeah, fat bikes. Actually, I can't believe we rode that. This is a swampy place, but we got to go through this swampy place to get to our picture. There, yeah, I see it just in the distance. Luckily, it's cold enough that it should all be frozen. Won't have to worry about getting cold, wet feet. Okay, well that battery only survived a few minutes actually, so yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get more batteries. Like I said, I think they're gonna be hard to find here in town in a store. Boots like this, shoes like this are just what we want for this type of terrain where you're actually going to have to get off and walk. There's other fat bike tracks here. Alright. So this is a conservation area called the Cascades. Careful, because a layer of ice on a lot of these sections of rock. Picture time. So down at the bottom there's a swimming hole where people come here to swim, because that's kind of where these initial rapids end. See if we could take some other shots without falling and hurting ourselves.